Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome
Morning,
to First
Earthlings.
Contact
How you doing today?
Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First Contact
the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. Welcome back from the weekend. How you doing? Hope your first weekend of the springtime went well for you. Let's move on and see what we're dealing with today. It's 23rd of the month. 23rd of March 2015. So right here we see that our moon sign for today is Taurus. Taurus is the moon sign. Taurus in the tarot is the card of the Hierophant. This is the Hierophant right here. The Hierophant is the spiritual teacher. Okay? Spiritual teacher. Hebrew letter associated with this, Va, means nail or hook. Nail or hook. The whole idea, and this goes back to the whole essence of the teachings, everything's energy. We have a spiritual energy, we have a physical world. We live in this physical world, but we know there's fire, there's water, there's air, and then there's earth. Earth is the physical realm. In order to really bring the full essence of life into the physical realm, we have to hook it to something. Va means hook or nail. So the Hebrew letter signed to this is hook or nail. So the spiritual teacher hooks the spiritual with the physical, and that way it's connected, and that's what this represents. That's the idea of the spiritual teacher, to hook. And when we do that, we're listening to something on a higher level. We're not just caught up in the physical, because otherwise if we're caught in the physical, but the sign itself is an earth sign. So Taurus is an earth sign dealing with the physical world. Because when we're in the physical world, we don't want to dismiss this world as being something that's problematic or bad, because this is part of the experience as well. We just need to understand in the way in which energy moves where this energy actually is associated. Okay, it's one of the elements: fire, water, air, earth. We don't want to overlook the others, but we don't want to dismiss the earth either. So if we continue to look on to see what we're dealing with here, we have a number of different aspects with this particular sign today. First one took place, a square between Jupiter, and this was earlier, 3 a.m., during the time when most of us here were asleep. There's a lesson, maybe in our dream state we are dealing with an expansion of the way in which we bring together that spiritual into the physical. As we move through the day, 7:16 a.m., we had a trine between Pluto and Taurus. Pluto is telling us there's some deep transformation needs to occur between the way in which we use this Torreon energy. As we move into the day, into the 9 o'clock hour, 9:24, we have a sextile where Mercury gets into the mix. Mercury about communication. So the way in which we communicate what it is that we are learning as we connect the physical and the spiritual, what we're hearing from the inner teacher. Intuition is also part of this idea of this card as well. Little after noon, Chiron gets into the mix. Chiron is that wounded part of ourselves that finds healing, and we find healing through the physical by understanding the spiritual. So lots of very interesting lessons today in that regard. The sun sign for today is the sign of the Emperor. So we have the Emperor and we have Taurus. These are what we're dealing with today, okay? So as we go out, and what I like to do when I look at the the tarot is I like to see who are the characters that are meeting today. So all month long, we've got this one right here. All month long, the Emperor is here wanting to oversee things. He who sets in order. He being the conscious mind. So our conscious mind is wanting to put things in order. It's the new springtime. It's a new beginning. So we have red, the color of beginning. We have the Emperor who's making his efforts to put things in order. And now the first character he's meeting here today is the Hierophant, who says, that's great, keep things in order. But remember, there's a spiritual world that's out there, and you don't want to forget about the spiritual realm. And so that's the communication that's going on between the two of them. The fire, the ideas, the passion of the Emperor, but the intuition, the inner teacher of the Hierophant. Okay? So let's move on from here. Take a look at the wheel today over at Planet Watcher. I found this to be a very helpful resource because it really just helps us to understand as we go where everything is moving and the speed at which it's moving. Again, some of these you're going to notice are in the same houses each and every day. Each one of these 12 divisions is referred to as a house. So the zodiac's made up of 12 houses. Some of these move slow. Some of the planets move fast. So we look here in the first house, which is Aries. We got the Sun in Aries. We got Uranus in Aries. We have Mars in Aries, all in that first house right there. Okay, first house, new beginnings. Over here in Taurus, we could see our moon. We also see Venus. Imagination. One uses our imagination to express what's going on with the physical. And up here, this is Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, as we make our way around. And this is emotions, walking the path of the unknown. Here we have that Mercury, communication. We have Neptune, tells us we have to take a new perspective on things. Chiron, who's also needing to deal with the emotions to get past that, to find the healing. Capricorn is up here. We're dealing with transformation because we see Pluto. Sagittarius, the truth bringer, is needing to focus that truth. Okay, and then Leo here at the expansion. Okay, so this is a very useful tool if you use it accordingly. On the Jewish calendar, today is 3 Nisan. 3 Nisan is the third day of the new month of the year. So just like we have a new beginning astrologically going with Aries, this sign is a new beginning of the new month in the Jewish calendar, starting over at the first month, Nisan. The daily thought for today is entering the palace. Intelligence can map the journey of the palace of truth, but I dare not enter there, for within the blinding light of truth, intelligence is nothingness, a void. Faith is prepared to throw itself into the fire for the truth, but on its own it cannot find its way. Hand in hand, intelligence and faith, understanding and wisdom find their way into the most inner chambers of truth. Okay, it's a good daily thought. Waxing moon. Waxing means going up from a new moon to a full moon. Okay, 14% of the way there. Space weather, our solar wind is 597.9 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index at the moment is quiet. However, we could get up to a storm in the 5 area. Geomagnetic storm activity is low, 5%. Well, actually, let me backtrack here. Coronal holes, nothing really much. Big one on the bottom, but nothing that's directly facing us, apparently. M-class flares, 5%. X-class 1, geomagnetic storm activity, 45% in the mid-latitudes, staying there over the next 24 to 48 hours. In the high latitudes, things are subsiding to some degree from severity, 60 to 55. 25 to 30, it's going up here in the minor. So there's still some activity out there, all due in course to the storm that's possibly on the horizon for us. Okay, and this week in the sky, here's our look. 23rd, we're going to see the moon. Down and off to the right, we've got Venus, Aries. Off to the right here, Mars. Says that Venus shines well to the moon's lower right this evening. Venus is the brightest point of light at dusk. The second brightest is Jupiter, much brighter in the southwest. Look to the right of Jupiter by the 2 to 3 fists at arm's length for Procyon. Look the same distance lower right from Procyon, and there's the evening's third brightest point, Sirius. Okay. So there you have it. That's what's going on with our cosmic weather for today. UFO news is up next, so let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Number of really good sightings today. Let's get to it. The first one here is a flying humanoid. That's right, flying humanoid. This took place over Peru on the 15th of March. New interesting video footage of a flying humanoid recorded over Peru March 15th. Says I'm Dr. Anthony Choi, investigative journalist and national coordinator of the Peruvian Association of Ufology, otherwise known as APU. This new video of the phenomenon called flying humanoid is part of a series of sightings since November 2010. I've been researching in Peru. This video was recorded on Friday, March 6, 2015, 6:15 p.m. by the young radio producer and television guest Cesar Rodriguez in the middle of the Selvatic city of Puerto Maldonado in Madre de Dios, south of Peru. According to the history of the witness, the sighting lasted about 5 minutes, in which the phenomena had human form with a head, trunk, legs, and arms flying over the city, disappearing, raised, and lost in the clouds. So there's our object. Most interesting indeed. Okay, moving on. Next, we have a sighting over Gresham, Oregon. Witness says that on 3 UFO was recorded following an airplane over Gresham, Oregon. This took place March 18th. Every time I've seen them, they don't frighten me. It's like I know that they are peaceful, at least the ones that I have seen. Video itself is 2 minutes and 50 seconds in length. With all these, it's always good to enlarge the screen because then you can really get a good view of what's going on as opposed to just the smaller version. There we go, right there. Okay. Moving on. 3-byte orb UFOs over North Carolina, March 18th. 1 hour after moving northeast and going upward from the backyard of our house, last year we saw the same, but no, one less orb. So there's the orb right here, almost in the middle of the screen. Video itself is 2 minutes and 11 seconds. You can definitely see it right there. Okay, that's out in North Carolina. UFO shoots through the clouds following jet, March 18th. Object in question right here. Recorded following a plane over Gresham. We just looked at this one here. Okay, so see if we get if this is another view or if it's the same view. Now it looks like it's the same view we just looked at. All right. Yep, same view, same sighting. Little one flying across here. Alright, let's move on from here. Mothership in Torreon, Mexico. OVNI, Nave, Nodriza, and Torreon, Mexico. 20th of March 2015. There's a good shot right there. Something very large up in the clouds. Many have described the disk clouds are not UFOs that are cloaked, but actual clouds. That is foolish. These UFOs that can create clouds to hide inside of, also they have to take on a white cloud appearance. I have seen one once close up over a white sand beach, Taiwan, but what I saw was a shiny white disk, ceramic-like, no smoke, no wisp of smoke anywhere. It was just a 400+ meter disk. Sadly, this was back in 2006-07. I had no camera. A few weeks later, I bought one. These are UFOs. The glowing orb that comes out of it confirms it. This UFO in the video is far away compared to the one that flew over me, but it is a UFO. Okay. It's a good size object up there. Next, here we have a volcano over Colima, March 22nd. Volcano near Mexico City is one of the several known for its UFOs being recorded near it. These two UFOs were caught out by UFO researcher StreetCap1 of YouTube. He keeps a watchful eye out for any anomalies that should not be there. The fascinating thing about this UFO is a black orb that looks like it's descending into the mouth of the volcano. The other UFO is a disc view from the side. These photos were taken from the live cam, but the live cam only shows photos every 20 to 30 seconds instead of having a live video feed. If we had video, we could tell a lot from the way it moves and find the direction of both UFOs. Okay. Here's just a collection of the still images. But it's pretty fascinating that we can watch from the webcams and just watch what's going on with these. See what's happening. Alright, moving on. UFO spotted in the skies over St. Helens. According to the witness, the object was triangular, gigantic, silent, and moving at warp speed, which pretty much rules out a drone. UFOs seem to be attracted to volcanoes, active or otherwise, including Popocatépetl volcano in Mexico, possibly the most frequently UFO visited volcano site in the world, with more than its fair share of sightings. More recently, a cigar-shaped UFO hovers near Mexico volcano, captured by live cam, and seems to be just hanging out there observing the activity below. On another occasion, 2013, a UFO appears to deliberately enter Mexican Popocatépetl volcano. Mysterious Universe tells us that just days ago, more UFOs visited the Costa Rica's Torreon volcano right after a massive eruption took place. Are active volcanoes a self-replenishing energy source? Well, has St. Helens been visited by aliens? This strange object, orange in color, was spotted by the star reader George Hunter hovering above the home close to St. Helens town center. Described by Mr. Hunter as a huge object that moved at warp speed, it was seen just after midnight in the skies over the Rainforest Road area. Mr. Hunter said it was just after midnight, and as I looked through the kitchen window, I saw some very bright lights in a triangular pattern quite high in the night sky. I filmed the lights and zoomed in on them. I only managed to get a short clip as the lights moved out of the shot I was filming them. They were moving very fast, gone in less than a second, almost like something out of Star Trek, moving at warp speed. I'm not sure what this was, or if it was an ordinary craft, but no plane or helicopter, as it simply moved too fast and made no noise. I am convinced this was a huge object. It was much bigger and brighter than it appears in the clip. Alright, well, we'll find out as this clip plays. If the clip plays, I suppose I could have had some type of, could have been some type of military aircraft, but it was completely silent and appeared to be massive. I am stumped as to what the object could have been, and I'm interested to see if anyone else might have seen it or had an explanation. Well, since this video seems to be taking forever to play, I'm not certain we're going to be seeing it. But the link is available, so give it a shot, see what you think. Michigan witness recalls UFO encounter in a local field. A nice artist rendition here of what was seen. A witness from Michigan recalls a 1966 UFO incident in Carson City when she and her cousin discovered a disc UFO on the ground after stepping into the local field. The report was filed in Witness Reporting Database of MUFON. The witness says that it was a bright day when they made an entry into the enclosed field along the edge of the town and spotted the UFO on the ground. They were both 7 years old at that time. According to the witness, they saw pieces of metal and they thought that the tornado brought them, but they were shocked after seeing that the object moved. They came close to the moving UFO and it zipped up in a zigzag manner. The reporting witness recalls that they saw a silvery, strange object with a little bit of heat wave shimmer. She can't remember any features because things happened so quickly. The mother of the reporting witness claims that the children returned home like they experienced some considerable tension. She went into the field to investigate the children's claims. According to the report by the witness, her mother found a flattened, burnt area with holes that seemingly result of a coffee being shoved in the ground. The reporting witness doesn't recall the feeling afraid of the experience or the UFO itself. The witness provided an illustration of the event, which was filed March 5th, 2015. So there's the rendition of what they say that they saw. Looks like a giant football. Okay, and one last piece, actual video of a photo of a UFO resembling a drone making rounds online. Well, that certainly would easily be mistaken. A video and photo shows a small-scale model of a Russian military drone that resembles a space UFO as we know it. The one in the video and the photo is only 1/5 of a model. The actual drone will be 2,000 pounds and have a 30-foot wingspan. Known as the Chronic, it can land and launch in nearly any surface. It is a reconnaissance and strike drone made by the United Engineering Corporation. One thing unique about this UAV is that it can hover. Around the bottom is the air cushion skirt, allowing the Chinook to travel and to take off over land and water. It can go as high as 6,000 meters in altitude and fly up to 2,500 kilometers. The UEC already built an internal 750-kilogram model with a 10-meter wingspan. The prototype will be showing its capability during a demonstration at annual 2015 trade show in Russia. The maker says it will start working on much larger 2-ton version of the drone designed to carry supplies, bombs, and missiles. So there you go. There's our UFO news for today. That last sighting certainly makes it known that what's taking place out there is getting more complicated because the technology is allowing drones and things in the sky that now we have to decide when we see something if that's what it is. At least we can tell the difference between a drone and Swampcast, so that in itself might make it a little easier, but you can see as technology advances, it makes what we're looking at a little bit more challenging, and we have to use a bit more of a discerning eye in that regard. Alright, that is our UFO news for today. I'll be right back, so stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit, shine down.
show us the way, show us the way, show us the way to live in peace every day. Great Spirit, show us the way, show us the way, show us the way to live in peace every day. Oh, 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 oh. The wheel of life keeps rolling, rolling, rolling round and round, round and round. Nothing you can do will stop it, stop it. Nothing will slow it down. You gotta keep on going, going strong, going strong. You gotta keep believing and keep moving on. Oh, 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 oh. Great Spirit, send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Great Spirit, send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Oh, 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 oh.
All right. So on Friday's show, I talked about the Krabalion. The Krabalion is a set of energy principles and how we use energy. And I wanted to build upon that. And I thought I would go back to something very basic, the Tree of Life. I'm not going to get into reading books or anything on that. I'm just going to give a description of this Tree of Life. The reason I am is because we're dealing with a lot of energy down here on this earth every single day. And it's all energy. And energy needs to find its balance. And so when we make decisions in life, our decisions are all decisions that can be made in different ways. Let me bring up this, and this will help bring some perspective into what I'm saying here. Well, here we go. There is the Tree of Life. Tree of Life is a symbol that is something that we're familiar with. We've heard the story over and over and over again in many different ways. We hear trees of life in many different cultures, and religions, mythologies, and so on. It's a very simple principle. What we have here are three pillars. A pillar on the right, a pillar on the left, and a pillar right in the middle. As you can see, the path that takes us from the top to the bottom, the smoothest, most direct path is right in the middle. You got a path to one side and you path to the other. These paths, these pillars, are simply the extremes. And everything happens on this tree are lessons that we're learning that are all teaching us how to get back to the middle path. What we have here are 10 classrooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each classroom we have a different lesson that we learn. The crown, we learn unity. Wisdom, we're learning how to think. Not what to think, but how to think. Understanding, we're learning how to understand the things that we're thinking about. Mercy, we're learning that being humble is important. Severity, we're learning that we need to have passion in life. Beauty, back in the heart space, shows us that when we go back to the center of love, everything is beautiful. Victory teaches us that when we get control of our emotions, there's tremendous victory to be had. Splendor teaches us how wonderful the mind is and the things that we learn from the mind. But we don't want to let our egos get in the way or out of control. Foundation brings us back to the middle, and it tells us that if we allow ourselves to stand on our own truth, the pillar of truth, we find a great foundation is supporting us. And finally, the physical world, which is a combination, you see, 4 different aspects here, elements, fire, water, air, and earth, that the physical world is a combination of all of these elements together. So as we look at this tree, we could see all these principles on this side go to one particular extreme, because as I said here in the Pillar of Mercy, we want to learn to be humble. But we don't want to be walked upon. On the other side, we want to learn the lessons of passion or severity, but we don't want to be aggressive and a bully. We can learn things here, but we can get so caught up in our learning that we miss really seeing what's going on in life, or we can get so severe in our understanding that we are so hard on ourselves because we don't understand everything properly. Down here in the sphere of victory, we can learn great things about our emotions, or we can get washed over and overwhelmed by them and feel the opposite effect. On the side of splendor, we can look at things in the world and be in wonder of all that is created, or we can let our egos get out of control and think that everything's the be-all and end-all that comes from us. And all of these elements here are all teaching us, go back to the middle pillar, go back to the middle path. This is what we're told in various philosophies, go back to the middle path. So when we go through life on a daily basis, we're dealing with these various aspects of the tree of life every single day. You see, you got one side of the tree here. We could say one side is Democrat. We could look at the other side and say that side is Republican. We could look at one side and say it's male, the other side is female. We could take anything in life that we're looking at and we could divide it on this tree of life. We could say one side is black, one is white. One is male, one is female. On and on and on. But when we get back to the middle pillar, that is when things are in the most balance. So as we go through life and we deal with any particular issues in the world, what we need to ask ourselves is, are we in balance or are we out of balance? When we hear stories about these religious extremists that are out in the world, and they're not just in any particular religion, they're in all religions. But when you hear the word extremist, guess what? Where does extreme fall on the tree? It falls to the outside. So when things are extreme, that means you're on the outside. You're not in balance. When things are in balance, you're in harmony. One of the things the Tree of Life teaches us, and this is something that I've learned from Kabbalistic studies, I've learned from the Gnostic Gospels, I've learned from esoteric science, on and on and on. There's a principle that is expressed over and 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 over. And that is, the universe is made up of male and female, masculine and feminine energy working together. It's not masculine and masculine, and it's not feminine and feminine. The Tree of Life shows us that that's possible. If we want to work with just masculine and masculine, we can do that. But it's out of balance. It's on one side. We can work with feminine and feminine, but it's out of balance because it's on one side. It's only when we truly bring together the aspects of masculine and feminine in harmony that we have true balance. It's only when we bring the aspects of the extremes of religions together in harmony that we have true balance. When a part of society isn't trying to oppress another side, because here you have the oppressor, here you have those who are being oppressed. When you bring those together, we have balance. When we stop fighting over Republican and Democrat, we realize that both sides are out of balance because one is on one extreme and one is on the other. When we bring together the best ideas of both worlds, we're in balance. When we look at the issues of gender in the world and all that's going on these days of what's right, what's wrong, we've got the whole gay, lesbian issues that are out there. The guys want to be with the guys, the women want to be with the women. Hey, it's all possible. But as we could see from the lessons of esoteric science, neither one of those states is in a state of balance. The only state that's in balance that we're told over and over and over again is always bringing together and merging of the ideas of one extreme with the next. The masculine and the feminine. The masculine and the feminine. Now, before anybody misunderstands what I'm saying, I didn't write this. I'm just sharing with you what is out there. I'm sharing with you the wisdom of the universe. So no matter what issues we're dealing with in life, no matter what they are on a daily basis, if we were to stop and consider this symbol, consider the tree of life, and say, are we in balance with what we're doing? Or are we on one extreme or the other? That might help us to understand where we are. Because with the tree of life, the objective is to always find our way back to that middle path that goes from the crown to the heart to the foundation to the physical world. We can go any way we want on this tree. That's the lesson. That's the beauty of living in a free will universe. We can go to one extreme. We can live our whole life by one extreme on one particular side. We can swap over to the other extreme. But all we're doing is going from one extreme to the X. If we look at life and we imagine this like a teeter-totter, okay? When things are in balance, it's great. But when there's one extreme to the other, it's out of balance. For example, politics. What do? Right now we have the Democrats, so we're leaning to one extreme here. What's going to happen if the Republicans get in? The Republicans aren't going to say, let's find a nice balance. They're going to go to the other extreme. And the next group in. And so we go back and forth. These extremes, they don't get us anywhere except taking us to the opposite point. We're only going to truly learn our lessons when we bring things in balance. When we realize the extremes on either end isn't doing us any good, because according to the laws of the universe, and the Kabbalah is a science of the many universes. So according to the science of the many universes, multiple universes, not just here, this particular one of the earth, but according to the science of the many universes, according to the nature of life, everything is masculine and feminine that is looking to find balance. And so I bring this up because I think this is very important. I think it's very important. And if we just take a moment with whatever we're doing to ask ourselves, are we in balance? Are we walking the middle path? Or are we to one extreme or the other? If we can ask ourselves that question objectively, then we can find out how we get back. Because that is the lesson. How do we get back to where we need to be? If our objective is to always walk the middle path, then by understanding where we are at any given moment, we can find out which way to go. So for example, if we know that we're too much in our mind, the wisdom, learning, we're just overwhelmed, we have to walk the path back to the middle, the path here of the Emperor. We have to put in order the things we've learned so we can get back to our heart. We can't just keep running around without a sense of organization. If we get to the point where we're extreme on our understanding and we're really being too hard on ourselves, we have to reconsider the choices we're making, and we have to get in better relationship with who we are, better discrimination and discernment so we can get back to the heart and balance. If we're so severe, as this one shows, that we become warlike, we have to find balance. We have to provide justice in our lives. Not an external judge, but individual justice that takes place inside each and every one of us. If we become so humble that we become walked upon, We have to find balance in the hermit by going back to the middle to find that neutral place and realize that no one needs to be walked on, that we all have value. If we find ourselves so emotionally caught up in the world here that we're being overrun by everything, we have to find our balance by walking the path here of death, letting go of those emotions. From the flip side here, if we're caught up in the mind, we have to walk the path of the devil. We have to look past the illusions, because fire, water, air, earth, the mind is not the only thing here. And this isn't where we're talking about the ultimate mind, the mind of God, as was discussed in Kybalion. This is now, as we move down the tree of life, we're starting to bring energy into manifestation towards the physical realm. So all paths lead back to the middle at all times. The paths of balance that go across this way, the bridge between wisdom and understanding, is our imagination, love. The bridge between mercy and severity is strength, allowing our energy to flow through our heart. The bridge between our emotions and our mind is the tower, preconceived ideas get in our way. By walking the middle path, we allow ourselves to enter in the chamber of the high priestess, that inner portion of ourselves, that inner sacred part of who we are, the inner temple inside of us. From our heart space, we are seeing clearly. We're tapping into our higher self and allowing our higher self then to be the foundation of all that we're doing, so that we can bring into world in balance what we ask and what we choose. See, none of this is complicated at all. Goldilocks and the Three Bears, too hot, too cold, just right. On and on and on we can look at these examples. On and on and on. So we need to understand this tree of life. We need to understand the nature of balance, because every single day we're going out of balance because we're going to one extreme or the next. We can do that. We can do that. No judgments. We can do it. But just because we can do something doesn't mean we should, because sometimes the things continue to take us out of balance. So we have to find the way, and it takes great strength to be in balance, because the world is not one that is catering to that. The world is catering to us just to be chaotic, out of balance, to be on this extreme or be at that extreme, because the balancing point isn't going to necessarily fill the coffers of the greedy. It's not necessarily going to satisfy the selfish individual, because the balance point brings together the best of both worlds. If you go to the balance point here, instead of being Democrat or Republican, you say, you know what, let's find the balance between the two of them. Take the best of both worlds. Instead of dealing with issues of gender, of the male or the female, we find out, you know what, the best of both worlds is when we understand both of them. So we don't have the feminist, which is hating men, and the men, the chauvinists, which are hating the women. We find that both have value. And we can just apply this to any issue in life. Any. This is the pattern on the Trestleboard. It's a very simple 11 principles here that are called truths about the self, and they apply to this tree of life. First one, 0, represents the whole thing here. All the power that ever was or will be is here now. 1, crown. I am a center of expression for the primal will to good, which eternally creates and sustains the universe. 2, through me, its unfailing wisdom takes form in thought and word. 3, filled with understanding of its perfect law, I am guided moment by moment along the path of liberation. 4, from the exhaustless riches of its limitless substance, I draw all things needful, both spiritual and material. 5, I recognize the manifestation of the undeviating justice in all the circumstances of my life. 6, in all things great and small, I see the beauty of the divine expression. 7, living from that will, supported by its unfailing wisdom and understanding, mine is the victorious life. 8, I look forward with confidence to the perfect realization of the eternal splendor of the limitless light. 9, in thought and word and deed, I rest my life from day to day upon the sure foundation of eternal being, and 10, the kingdom of spirit is embodied in my flesh. These truths will help you understand how we maintain balance in our lives. And so what I'm going to challenge each and every one out there to do is to find this balance in our lives. Take a good hard look at what's going on with your life. Are you in balance? Are you leaning to one extreme or the other? If so, that's okay, because there's lessons there to be learned. But that extreme is not going to get you the balance that you're really looking for. And all we have to do is look at the nature of the universe, principles of the universe. And if you think that you can outwit the principles of the universe, give that a shot. See how that works for you. But the principles of the universe are in place and have been in place, and they hold this universe together. And ultimately, what you're going to find is that when you get in sync with yourself, when you truly decide that you're going to get away from the extremes to get into a place of balance, your life will be much smoother. And those around you will feel that your life is moving smoother, and you'll affect them in a different way. When we all start operating from a place of balance, we're not going to be having the wars. We're not going to be having the racisms. We're not going to be having the issues with gender. We're not going to be fighting with each other. We're going to be in balance and synchronicity, because we won't have need for greed and selfishness and violence and all this other stuff. We'll be in balance. All these things occur because we feel out of balance, so we want to take from the other extreme to try to balance ourselves out. We don't have to take from the other extreme. We just need to find our way back to the middle path. All times, the middle path. That's what all philosophies tell us. All philosophies, all religions are telling us a middle path. So it doesn't matter what religion, what faith you are. There's extremes, but there's also those in balance. Buddhism, you have extremes on either side, but you have those who are balanced. Islam, you have extremes on both sides, but you have those who are balanced. Christianity, extremes on both sides, but you also have the balance. Hinduism, extremes on both sides, but balance. And of course, Judaism. So let us find our way to be balanced. To be balanced each and every day, because this is energy. This is energy, and it's not brain surgery. It's real simple. It's the mind energy that corresponds with itself, that vibrates, that has polarities to it, that manifests in the world in various different ways. And when we understand the true nature of this energy, the masculine, feminine, how it works together, when we stop fighting with each other as males and females and stop segregating ourselves from each other because of our colors or our genders or our ideas, we're going to be a whole lot better in this world. But it's going to take all of us to do this. It's going to take all of us. And we can't have some leaders out there telling us this is how it has to be, because then that's an extreme situation, and that's not working. Balance, my friends. Balance is what we're looking to attain at all times. Okay? Let's move on from there. Here's an article. It's called The Pineal Gland, Stargate to Time Travel. This is a very important part in our body that is helping us to stay in synchronicity and balance. It's the pineal gland, right between the two eyes. Helps us see through dimensions of space and time. The pineal gland is a hyperdimensional stargate built into our human's physiology, which enables us to time travel. This technology was reverse engineered by the ancient Atlantean society. The stargate functions by the use of ordinary water, H2O. When shielded off from the electromagnetic reference to our existing third-dimensional space-time, the water can shift and have a connection made to an inverted reality of time and space. 3 dimensions of time, 1 dimension of space. When space-time has been entered, there is access to 1 dimension of space and the ability of movement through time. In this realm of fast-forwarding and rewinding through time can be accomplished very easily, much like space-time. We have easily movement ability through space. This is accomplished through the tiny molecules within the pineal gland, water called microclusters. These microclusters are depicted in plutonic solid geometry shapes. The microclusters form a resonant gateway which allows transition into time and space. When fired up by means of Kundalini activity, the pineal gland's Stargate technology is accessed. Kundalini activation is the balancing of all the chakra energy centers within the human body that will ultimately allow for the pineal gland technology activation. This activation is felt as a ringing, buzzing, or pressure inside the head. During the process, a series of complex electromagnetic intersecting rings of energy spin around the water within the pineal gland, which causes the pineal gland to gate over into time, space, where your access to linear time can be directed to some degree by your conscious forces. And here we have a couple of good movies about the subject. So I'm going to recommend, this one's an hour and a half. It's by David Wilcock. Here we have a 3-part series, The Pineal Gland is a Stargate. So check these out. I think you'll find them quite fascinating. But what is being discussed here is balance. Where's the pineal gland? Right here, in the place of balance. So we're balancing out our hemispheres right here. Again, going back to the tree of life. Bringing the extremes into balance so that we can move forward on the path that's right in the middle path. Okay? It's not real difficult. It's not real difficult. You know, what was it that Jesus said over and over? You must be like a child to enter into the kingdom. So it doesn't need to be complicated. Just get in balance. That's all we have to do. All we have to do. Here's a message today. It's from the angels.
Message from the angels.
March 21, 2015. By Ann Albers.
The angels.
My dear friends, we love you so very much. Let there be a sparkle in your eyes and a gladness in your heart. You are alive. Life is on earth is a gift, a blessing, a precious opportunity to grow in your awareness and ability to connect with love. The planet herself is a miraculous being, a wonderful and loving soul who permits you, as any good mother does, to learn your lessons, make your choices, and grow in your awareness of love. This week we encourage you to thank your Mother Earth, the soul of the planet upon which you reside. She is indeed a spirit incarnate. She feels you walking up her. She loves when you get along with one another. She feels your appreciation, your love, and even your concerns. She gladly takes the energies you wish to discard and gives you life-affirming energy to sustain your human body. Dear ones, your planet loves you very much. This week take some time to sit or stand upon the earth. Feel your feet deeply rooted into her soil, if only in your imagination. Feel her energy running up from the solace of your feet or coming up through the base of your spine, nourishing your spirit and giving your body life-affirming energies. Take the time to connect with her spirit and thank her for all she gives you. Then take a breath and feel her love coming back into your heart. Breathe in her love and breathe out yours. Commune with her in this fashion. Dear ones, your earth needs your love at this time, even more than she needs environmentalism, even more than she needs activism, even more than she needs studies and research, for all those things are wonderful and do help her physical form tremendously, but you, dear ones, the ones who live upon her, can sustain her beautiful heart with your love. And in return you will feel an embrace unlike any you may have ever experienced before, for she too loves you so very much. God bless you. We love you so much. The angels.
Alright, very nice message from the angels. That brings us to our meditation for today. Actually, before that, let's look at the message today from the Warrior of the Light. And this is page 48 for those who are following along. I'm going to make sure I put down, I haven't been listing the page number, so I think that'll make it easy for you from now on. Time works, and a warrior of light is never in a hurry. Time works in his favor. He learns to master his impatience and avoids acting without thinking. By walking slowly, he becomes aware of the firmness of his step. He knows that he is taking part in a decisive moment in history of humanity, and that he needs to change himself before he can transform the world. That is why he remembers the words of Lanza de Vasto. A revolution takes time to settle in. A warrior never picks the fruit while it is still green. So that brings us to our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. Another deep breath, and as you do, just contemplate the words of the pattern of the Trestleboard. All the power that ever was or will be is here now. I am a center of expression for the primal will to good which eternally creates and sustains the universe. Through me its unfailing wisdom takes form in thought and word. Filled with understanding of its perfect law, I am guided moment by moment along the path of liberation. From the exhaustless riches of its limitless substance, I draw all things needful, both spiritual and material. I recognize the manifestation of the undeviating justice in all the circumstances of my life. In all things great and small, I see the beauty of the divine expression. Living from that will, supported by its unfailing wisdom and understanding, mine is the victorious life. I look forward with confidence to the perfect realization of the eternal splendor of the limitless light. In thought and word and deed, I rest my life from day to day upon the sure foundation of eternal being. The kingdom of spirit is embodied in my flesh. And just allow those words to reverberate through you, for these are truths. Truths that all, when contemplating, will understand. Feel the energy flowing through your body and understand that all of this energy is seeking a balancing point. So imagine finding a balancing point between those of the right and the left, the male and the female, the good and the bad. Find a balance down the center point of your body. Imagine all of your chakras are activated. The top chakra drawing in the energy of the cosmos. Bright white light where it meets the top chakra. And the color is violet. And then the energy moves down from the violet chakra down to the third eye, where it becomes indigo. And from the third eye chakra it continues to move down to the throat, where it becomes blue. From the throat chakra, the energy moves down into the heart, and there it changes to the color green. And then moving down just below the rib cage to the solar plexus, color is yellow. Further down yet, the energy moves down to the area of the belly button where it becomes orange. And then the energy continues to moving down to the bottom of the spine where it becomes red. And then it moves further down into the earth, grounding you into the earth. Therefore we are grounded to the earth energies and grounded to the energies of the cosmos. Connected above and below, and we are the balancing point in between. So contemplate the ideas of balance, and as you go into the world today, just think about balance. Think about where you are at any given moment. And think about what it is you need to do to get in balance. Which path do you need to walk to retain that state of balance? And just see if you can notice the points when you are out and the places where you are in. And by being aware, helps you to further yourself along the path to understand even more about who you are and what you are about. Let the subconscious mind continue on that journey of seeking out balance, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith, and 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's our show for today. I thank you very much for being here. Just remember, it's not such a complicated thing in this world. It's about finding balance. So when you go into the world today, find balance for yourself. And then watch how your life around you will reflect that same balance back to you and the things that you experience. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.